Now to the pandemic, and Dr. Anthony Fauci, our country's reassuring face of the pandemic, caused quite a stir yesterday when he hinted at retirement. Today, the medical advisor to the White House clarified, saying that he has no immediate plans to step down. Dr. Fauci joining us to talk about the retirement rumors, but also, of course, the latest with COVID and monkeypox. Dr. Fauci, good to have you with us tonight. Thank you.
Good to be with you. Thank you for having me.
So you caused the whole world to turn upside down yesterday with that announcement.
You know, I didn't really make an announcement. It was part of an innocent interview with a reporter from Politico that was not really news, because I had said that the question was asked if Donald Trump became president in January 2025, would I be willing to work with him? And I said, it doesn't matter who the president is in January 2025. I don't see myself working in the government beyond January 2025. I wouldn't exactly call that an announcement of retirement. I don't know how long I'm going to be staying. I may leave anywhere between now and then, but I certainly am not going to retire. I may go to another phase in my professional career. So that's the reason why I was kind of raising my eyebrows when they were saying retire. I was just responding that I'm not going to be in the government.
So it was
January 2025.
It was misinterpreted.
No doubt, it really was.
I told you during the break that the last time you and I spoke was in October of 2020, and so much has changed, but yet so much is still the same, although now we're tackling Omicron and the BA.5, which has a resistance, it seems, to some of the vaccines that are present. Where do we stand on the FDA, the CDC coming up with a stronger vaccine?
Well, we are right now, as you well know, because New York is in the middle of this type of a surge we're seeing in BA.5, we will be upgrading and updating the vaccines to be given sometime, hopefully in the early fall. And it very likely will include, though you never want to get ahead of the FDA, they're going to be making that decision, but it is likely that it will be a bivalent, including a component that's the standard vaccine that we've been getting, as well as an upgraded or updated a component that would hopefully more accurately match the circulating virus at the time. Because right now, you know, well over 80% is BA.5, and BA.5 is a very transmissible virus, and it eludes some of the protection that you get from prior infection as well as from vaccine. The good news about it is, or the somewhat comforting news, is that it's still the vaccines that we're using, particularly if you get boosted, still protects reasonably well against progressing to severe disease, leading to hospitalization, and unfortunately, in some cases, death. And that's the reason why, regardless of new variants, regardless of updated vaccines, we only have 67% of the United States population vaccinated. That is too low a percentage. We've got to do better than that, and we've got to get people boosted who are eligible to receive a booster, and we're not doing as well as we should.
And we still see so much fatigue when it comes to wearing masks and other preventative measures. Let's switch, talk about monkeypox right now. I had on Richie Torres, a congressman from this area yesterday. He's calling for an investigation on the slow uptick from the federal government in addressing monkeypox. We've had struggles here about getting adequate doses, the testing, and you have even said that we need to take this more seriously than we are.
Well, without a doubt, this is an outbreak that we're probably seeing just a portion of it. And below the radar screen, there are likely more cases that are spreading than we're seeing. Now, one of the things that is going to happen, and that is happening now, thankfully, because early on, when the community understandably was asking for more doses of the vaccine, which were not at that time meeting the needs, but now it has been ramped up considerably. There were 154,000 doses that were already distributed, with another 130,000 that also are now ready to go. And by the end of July, there'll be an additional 700,000 plus vaccines that will be available for not only people who've been exposed and want to get a post-exposure prophylaxis, but what we should be doing is getting people who are at risk to get pre-exposure prophylaxis. The other thing is that we have good antivirals against this particular virus. We've got to make sure we decrease any bureaucratic or paperwork obstacles in the way, and that's being worked on very aggressively to do that. The good news about testing is that just a while ago, we only had tests coming from the CDC, about 10,000 a week. Now, what we're seeing is we have 5 companies. We have LabCorp, Quest, Aegis, Mayo Clinic, and another one that just came online today. So we're going to have multiple-fold more testing available that we did not have just a few weeks ago.
That's comforting news indeed. There's so many people that say, yes, you have earned the right after being with 7 different presidents to retire, do whatever you want. But I got to tell you, there's still a lot of us who want you to stick around. So whatever you do, we thank you for the service you've given so far. And thank you so much for coming on tonight. We appreciate it and the update on everything.
My pleasure. Good to be with you. Thank you for having me.
Dr. Anthony Fauci.